This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
I was not straight. Whoa! Also, like, you guys might know that I have a thing against having my electronics on when it's storming really bad, and that might be happening right now. It looks like it's just coming on all of a sudden. I saw some lightning just a second ago. Let's see. I'm not high enough for anything, let alone this shit. So let's get high and see what happens. Looking awfully ominous outside. Smokey went under the couch. That is usually a sign that it's getting ready to storm really bad. Because Smokey went under the couch. He gets in the couches. That's my old couch at the old apartment. He got in it when it was storming. I don't even know how he does it. He I saw him turn into Jello or some shit. Fucking liquid under the couch. It was insane. And that's the reason why when I open the windows, I barely open them. Because I know that cat can go whoop. Cat can turn into liquid. God damn, it started pouring the rain. Listen, I had every intention of getting together with the media winch last night and watching Sound of Freedom. I'm pretty sure that I had it to where we could watch it together. I figured out how to solve the audio issues I was having. The problem is, Curiouser and I, we were supposed to go and get some pot yesterday. We were supposed to make a trip across state line, go to the weed store. She told me she'd be here about 10:30 in the morning. I'm like, all right, that's perfect. I have coffee waiting on you. We'll get high. We'll road trip. We'll do lunch. I figured we'd be back at my place by 1 o'clock. 1:30, because we're doing lunch. I'd get some shit done. And then we would do Sound of Freedom. We get to the city where the pot store is, and the first things first, she tells me to GPS her bank because we need to stop and get cash. So I GPS her bank, and for some reason the GPS doesn't take us to the bank that's there in the town that we're at. We think that the GPS thought that because the bank wasn't open. No, don't worry, PP girl. No, I'm getting ready to smoke up right now. And I wasn't out either when we were, so she was out and she messaged me and I was like, well, come over and get high. And then I gave her half of what I had. And I was like, well, I'll give you what I have if we go to the store tomorrow. So it wasn't a dire situation or anything. But so we get to the town, I GPS her bank, and the GPS starts taking us to the next town over. So we go all the way 10 miles out of our way just to go to the bank, and then I'm telling her well, the bank's up here on the left, and the GPS takes us in a completely different direction. I'm like, well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe the bank's not up here on the left. Because it was my bank and her bank. They're right side by side there. And it takes us around and I'm like, well, maybe I was wrong. I'm bad with directions. I'm a stoner. I never know where I'm going. So we come around and then we see her bank and she pulls into her bank. And I'm like, well, I could have sworn my bank was right here. But then we pull out and then my bank is right there, but we couldn't see it. There was something, but at the angle we were at. And I was like, okay, I'm not smoking crack. Those banks are right side by side. So we get back to the town. And this is, by the way, she didn't get here at 10:30. She got, that's not a big deal. I wasn't concerned when we were going. She got here at like 11:30, 11:45. This comes into play though. And when she got here, I'm like, pack a bong. I'm playing video games. She goes over, she packs a bong and everything. I'm like, let me go get to the save point here. So we get back to the town after we go to the ATMs. Well, my bong is empty. Brother, my bong is empty. So we get back to the town where the weed store is. We pull into the weed store. There's a sign on the door. And like, well, that's not good. So I go up and look at the sign, and the sign says, we're going to be closing early on Friday, and we're going to be closing early on Saturday to prepare for our restock. We're going to be open until 7 both days. And we're like 1:30 in the afternoon, maybe if that, at this point. And I'm like, it's open till 7. Oh, the door is closed. What's going on? So I go back and get in the car with her, and I'm like, well, it says they're open until 7 today, so I don't know what's going on. And like a line starts forming, and people are like, they're seeing the same thing I'm seeing, that the sign on the door says open until 7. So I was like, well, we'll just go to lunch and we'll come back. Maybe they were short-staffed and they had to take a lunch and blah, 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 blah. We'll go to lunch, we'll come back. We had an awesome lunch. We ate at this barbecue place. It had this like high dollar menu on it. It was like fucking $35. And it was like pick any 3 of like the meats that are smoked overnight. Or you could also get the ribs or the wings or whatever. And like I was like, ooh, curious, let's do this. Let's get this. Gets 3 meats, 3 sides. And like we split it. That's a fucking like $16, $17 between us. And like we get like a whole sampler of it. Like, ooh, yeah. So we ended up getting like brisket, smoked turkey, and the smoked turkey. Mwah. For the money, like, to get the menu items separately. For the money, the smoked turkey. That was the oh man, it was fantastic. Smoked turkey and then pulled pork. And we got like pepper jack grits, sweet potato casserole, and coleslaw. And like we were supposed to get beans, but they brought us the sweet potato casserole. And I was like, dude, hey, because his waiter was super cool anyway. And he was like, I'll just bring you some beans. I'm like, hell yeah, free sweet potatoes. I like the sweet potatoes better than the beans. So serendipitous win there. But while I'm sitting there at the table, I go look at their Facebook, the shop's Facebook page. And it says that there were some rude customers and that they were harassing one of their female employees. So they decided just to shut the fuck down. They were going to reopen on Monday. I was like, well, goddamn. Now, there are many other stores in the area. This one's just the best, I've done my due diligence, and this one is by far the best one. So I started looking. I didn't want to go to some of the other stores we've been to because I just don't like them. And the other store that we really like is in a completely different town. It's about 30 minutes over from where we're at. So I look up like the next store that has the best reviews, and it's a medical dispensary. And I'm like, well, I don't know how this is going to work because we might have to have a medical card. But we go in there, and first of all, their employees didn't look like they were having fun. It didn't, like every other weed store you walk into, it smells like weed. You walked into the medical store, it does not smell like weed. It smells like Lysol. It's like hermaphroditely sealed. Apparently there's a process. They're like, well, if you got a friend with an address, you can get your card. It might take 30 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, well, we'll take the application. We might look into it and, not for our usage today. So then, like, I look up the next other store, And she's looking at the website for that store. She's like, I don't know. Nothing says THC. Everything says like Delta 8 or some bullshit like that. I'm like, well, you want to go to that one place that we started coming to when we first started coming to this town? And she's like, no, let's just go to the next town over. I like them. They're more expensive, but I like them an awful lot, and they always got a good selection. I was like, all right, fine. If you want to go to the next town over, we'll go to the next town over. And we did. So we're like, it's a whole fucking day trip. We didn't make it back to my apartment until like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I rigged us up some dabs. We did some dabs and shit. Like, it was her first time ever having dabs. Coughed my ass off and went over. I was laying on the couch like, ugh. Killed by people with two genitalia. Sounds woke, indeed. Oh. But I did all those dabs with her. She goes back and, like, I don't know if she had something to do or whatever. She was gonna go see the Barbie movie, but that fucking ruined her afternoon plans. So I end up falling asleep on the couch after she leaves. I wake up in just enough time to do Sound of Freedom if I wanted to. Media Winch is messaging me. And she's like, ready to go when you are. And I said, you know what? Had this wild ass adventure with Curiouser today. Did a bunch of dabs, fell asleep, woke up. Do you know what the last thing I want to do is right now? Watch that stupid ass right-wing propaganda. I feel like playing video games. I don't think she blamed me on that one. So that's why you didn't get Sound of Freedom last night. I apologize. We'll just, fuck it, we'll watch it tonight.
Hola.
What a creepy fucking movie.
Yo fui la que te escuchó cantar en el mercado. ¿Te acuerdas? Sí.
It was echoing, wasn't it?
Eres aún más linda de lo que recordaba.
I don't think anybody blames me. I don't think anybody would blame me on that one. So I played Nino Cooney all night. That's what I've been playing. It's a little cutesy, old school JRPG type deal. Well, people, we can't do it on YouTube. I can only show little snippets. I get copyrighted. Did one of you piss on the fucking? Meme of the day. Well, I haven't seen my sons in years. I've missed them so bad. I just want them returned. Oh, they've been partying it up in NYC, eating pizza. Cowabunga. Apparently the new Turtles movie is really fucking good. It's getting rave reviews, so I'm excited to watch it. I've got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse now, but I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. Nino Cooney is such a fucking... It's a JRPG. It's so well written. Like the king of the first little kingdom. He's the cat king. And everybody's like, you gotta go see his Meowjesty. Art style is awesome. Oh, you're talking about TMNT. Art style in Nino Cooney is awesome too, but the art style in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, cool. I'm looking forward to Ninja Turtles. I'm looking forward to seeing the right wing melt down. It's probably too woke or something. can we talk about how last week they were all up in arms about a country music song? And they're like, oh, you gotta try to cancel. Blah, 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 blah. Then Tyler Childers drops a fucking banger of a country song. And the MAGA crowd loses their minds. What a difference a week can make. The new, oh yeah, she's black, isn't she, or something? Flash, good evening. PB Girl, Libertad, good evening. Is nobody on Kick right now? Am I not on Kick? What's going on? Did I get banned? Am I not live? I'm live. Hey, just ain't anybody over here. Wait a minute, am I live? No, it says I'm offline. It says I'm live and offline. I'm Schrodinger's Extreme. Okay, I am live on Kick. It's just being weird. It got me good. Jack the Ripper. That's what we're working with here. Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper. Ripping my lungs. I don't even remember what the dabs I got's called. I'm dying over here. It looks like we've averted the storm. The sun's coming back out. I might have to put the sunglasses on. Oh my god, this happened to me last time. I got all choked up at the beginning of the show. Maybe I need to quit taking bong rips. I'm getting old. You would think my lungs would be able to handle anything at this time. I'm not, I don't have enough followers. You have to have 1,000 followers on TikTok. I'm getting there. Past week was a really good week for me. I got a lot of attention on TikTok. We're getting there. Oh my god. My apologies, I'm fucked up. Oh god. What is wrong with me? Maybe I will be high enough after I get finished coughing. Alright. It's news time. News we do it. Oh god, damn. I need like a technical difficulties to cut to or some shit. What's the matter, rookie? God damn. Kids don't do drugs. Drugs are bad, apparently. They stop you from finding out what that news be doing. Usually they make that news be more tolerable. A blast in Pakistan at a political rally killed dozens of people. Appears to be a suicide bomb.
Pakistan today after a suicide bomber attacked a political rally. It happened in the northwestern part of the country. NBC's Matt Bradley is tracking the developments for us. And Matt, what do we know so far?
Yeah, Richard, we actually just heard in the last 10 minutes that the death toll from this blast has increased from 30 to 55, and there are now more than 135 injured. So, as you can imagine, with leaps like that in the casualty numbers, we probably haven't heard the last, and there's probably going to be some sort of increase in the casualty numbers going forward as the bodies are counted and the wounded are being taken care of. Hospitals are apparently overwhelmed with the wounded, and some of the more critical cases are being flown far away to Peshawar. Now, no one has claimed responsibility for this attack, and that's rather typical just in the hours that this has happened. But this was a political party, Jamaat Ulema Islam, that is pro-Taliban, and it actually has a nationwide presence. But this was a local rally, and actually one of the local leading politicians of this party was among those 55 who are dead. And this party actually is part of the ruling coalition, so it's a powerful group. But it is pro-Taliban. They're in favor of the Taliban next door in Afghanistan. And this particular part of Pakistan has seen a spike in Islamist and terrorist activity over the past year or two. And that just really highlights how the security situation there has been deteriorating ever since the Taliban finally took control of all of Afghanistan. So this is part of a pattern that we've been seeing of militancy increasing.
It's always the U.S.'s fault.
And one other thing is that, you know, the group that is opposed, one of the strongest groups that's opposed to the Taliban still in Afghanistan, is Islamic State. Now, you remember that name. They have a franchise in Afghanistan, and they have been targeting
a franchise.
Suspicion is likely to fall on Islamic State elements for targeting this particular political party in neighboring Pakistan. But one of the other issues here, Richard, and one of the things that a lot of Pakistanis are worried about, is that when we see an increase in militant activity, targeting politicians and targeting political groups like we just did today, it raises concerns that there could be an increase in Islamist activity or in terrorist activity ahead of general elections this fall. So that's a big issue for Pakistanis. This could be a decisive vote. This particular political rally was aimed at rallying voters ahead of this election in the fall, and it could keep voters from going to the polls. Richard?
NBC's Matt Bradley. Matt, thank you for that.
Sorry, I had my mic on there. I thought I had it turned off. Pakistan is no stranger to political assassinations. I mean, they have one every like 10 years. Fucking their president was assassinated. Benazir Bhutto. I had the biggest crush on Benazir Bhutto. Assassinated 2007. It is a very turbulent country. Much like the country of Haiti, which apparently the U.S. is pulling its diplomats out of currently. I didn't think we had recovered from the situation that happened, the civil war that broke out 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I didn't think that we had restored our diplomats, but apparently we had, because the U.S. is ordering personnel to leave Haiti amid new waves of civil unrest.
A humanitarian crisis worsening in Haiti, violent gangs overpowering police and now pushing out Americans. The U.S. State Department now ordering all U.S. government employees, non-emergency personnel, and their families to leave the country, citing the kidnapping, crime, civil unrest, and poor health infrastructure. The order following a travel advisory from the U.S. Embassy in Haiti on Thursday, advising all U.S. nationals to leave the country immediately due to escalating clashes between gangs and police in Port-au-Prince. According to a UN report, gangs control almost 80% of the capital and have already forced more than 165,000 Haitians to flee their homes.
No one deserves to live in Port-au-Prince now, right now. You're offered of being kidnapped for a money that you don't have. We cannot continue to live in a country that don't respect us.
This week, those who couldn't flee desperately seeking safe refuge outside the U.S. Embassy. The gangs just shoot and take control of the area. They took her house and now we're on the street, said this woman camping outside. Yet the group was later removed by police. The Caribbean country has been in freefall since the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse 2 years ago, which left a state without an effective government.
I've seen the situation.
But that was an understatement. It wasn't just the assassination of the president. Like, didn't they assassinate, like, most of the court or some shit like that? It was insane. And, like, the rest of them resigned. It was like it left a complete power vacuum. I didn't think that we ever recovered from that. I didn't know that we had diplomats in Haiti at this time.
For myself, conditions are desperate, but solutions are possible if we act now.
Amid the crisis, the UN also attempting to distribute humanitarian support after a report found that more than 5 million people require aid to survive. And making matters worse, data indicates violent crimes, including homicide and rape, more than doubled in 2023 compared to last year. A critical time for a country rapidly deteriorating into chaos.
And tonight, Guad joins us from our Telemundo Center in Miami. Guad, U.S. authorities say they cannot provide assistance for any Americans who choose to remain in the country. And that's a pretty dire warning right there.
Tom, that's correct. That means that Americans who stay would have to depend on the national police and local ambulances and hospitals. Keeping in mind, there are shortages of gasoline, electricity, and medicine. Also, Tom, both private and public hospitals in Haiti often lack the equipment and the staff to treat patients the way they need to. They would also have to deal with the violence. All of this if they choose to remain in Haiti.
Thanks for watching our
I thought they would have mentioned it, but there was a kidnapping. I mean, they made mention of kidnappings, but specifically an American nurse working in Haiti and her child kidnapped.
An American nurse and her child have been kidnapped.
I just said that.
In Haiti. It happened Thursday, according to the faith-based charity where Alex Dorsonville works. The State Department is aware of the incident. It's in contact with authorities in Haiti who have been appealing for international help to break the grip of armed gangs in that country.
It doesn't give us a lot of information. El Rojo Haiti, a Christian humanitarian organization, has identified the woman as Alex Dorsonville. Her husband and the child's father, Sandro Dorsonville, is the organization's founder and director of operations in Haiti. Originally from New Hampshire, Alex Dorsonville, and I'm fucking her name up, I apologize, lived and worked in Port-au-Prince as a nurse at the school run by El Rojo Haiti, which aims to expand access to affordable education and teaches a faith-based curriculum, according to the nonprofit. He and the child were kidnapped from the organization's campus near Port-au-Prince on Thursday morning while serving in our community ministry. Brown described Alex Dawsonville as a deeply compassionate and loving person who considers Haiti her home and the Haitian people her friends and family. Something going on with the YouTube. What are you guys talking about? Annie? Art? I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to say. I got a cat fucking with me down here. A Ukrainian drone exploded near Moscow, which I guess is bad. Amateur video captures the blast after a drone strikes a tower in Moscow. They're saying it's Ukrainian. Annie, that sounds racist as fuck. Haiti has been plagued with colonization, and it has been punished for daring to rise up. So to blame the Haitian people for economic conditions forced on them by other countries, namely the French and, in more recent times, the United States. I believe the kids call that victim blaming. Everything requires context. Context, my friend. Heart of darkness shit. I feel sorry for people like you. Haiti was still paying reparations to France. It's insane. If anyone in the chat knows a good book on the colonization of Haiti, it would be greatly appreciated. Because we apparently need people to get a little educated around here. Clinically, good evening, my friend. For daring to be free, they had to pay reparations. England just stopped paying reparations to slave owners just a few years back. Sparkles, good evening. Sparkles apparently had a guy try to mansplain banana phone to her as like his opening line, trying to hit on Sparkles, telling her she was doing banana phone wrong. That cracks me up. I couldn't catch my breath for 10 minutes, and I'm like, hey, watch me hit this bong. It is Sunday. It is a day that ends in Y. So you know what that means, right? Just another day in mass shooting, USA. The worst bit I've ever come up with. Please make that bit irrelevant. 5 wounded, 2 critically in a Michigan shopping center shooting. This is the first of several we're going to cover. This video sucks ass. Fuck you, ABC. Gunfire erupted early Sunday in the parking lot of a Michigan shopping center, leaving 5 people wounded, 2 critically, and several people detained for questioning. The shooting unfolded at about 1 a.m. outside the Logan Square shopping center in Lansing. When officers arrived at the scene, they found a large crowd with multiple gunshot victims. The victims ranged in age from 16 to 26. 2 of the victims were taken to local hospitals in critical condition. The motive for the shooting is under investigation. It was not immediately clear why a large crowd was gathered at the shopping center when the shooting occurred. I mean, just kids being kids on a Saturday night, a Friday night, due to the size of the crowd. I think it was overnight last night. Due to the size of the crowd, Lansing police requested backup from several neighboring law enforcement agencies. Police officials said several firearms were recovered at the scene, and several people have been detained for questioning, but no arrests have been announced. Going to Muncie, Indiana. One person is dead. 3 people injured, or multiple people injured. I don't know about 3. At a block party in Muncie.
Now.
Tonight, a community is in shock after a mass shooting in Muncie leaves 1 man dead and more than a dozen people injured. Investigators.
Ma'am, nobody is in shock about a mass shooting in the United States of America. Unfortunately, we are very desensitized to it.
Investigators are working to track down the person or people responsible for firing multiple shots into a crowd. News 8's Katira Winfrey is live in Muncie with the latest details. Katira.
Well, Brittany, the scene is clear right now, but you can still find bits of police tape. But also down here, someone has left a small memorial. Now, I spoke to one man who says he's the victim's uncle, the victim who died. They say that man is Joseph Barner and that he goes by Joe Smooth. Now, as you mentioned, a dozen other people are still in the hospital, and the community says this tragedy will definitely leave its mark. Now, police say the shooting happened around 1 o'clock this morning during a block party. A block party community members say was not at all connected to the community homecoming event that's been happening all week. However, considering it did happen in their community, they are sharing sympathy, adding this won't stop the work to make Muncie a peaceful and loving community. Now, at the time of the shooting, multiple agencies responded. Witnesses on the scene told my colleague Amisha Ramsey this morning there were about 100 people on the street when people walking around with guns started spraying fire. I spoke to one man who says he's the victim's uncle. He says he went to the scene afterwards and it was chaotic with people crying and angry.
Being that my nephew was the victim, you know, and that really touched home. So when I get to thinking about how I feel about the violence,
it seemed like this could be gang related.
It's a terrible thing because of the way our youth is now.
This is wild that in the United States we have to be like, was this gang related or was this just some senseless lone wolf going in shooting up the place just for shits and giggles? I don't even know. What are most of the motives for mass shootings? Some are neo-Nazis and have overt political means or using terrorism. There's people that are shooting up gay bars and stuff. But like, how do you classify just the random school shooter? What was it? Jacob Chansley? Is that the kid that I don't even have the story, but I don't even want to say that it's a trial. I think he pled guilty. I think it's hearings on whether he's going to get life in prison or not. But that's the kid in Michigan. They charged his parents. Like, what makes a kid do that? Why?
The love that we really need in our community is just not there.
And again, this was not connected to the community homecoming that was happening. However, a gospel event that was scheduled at a park ended up being canceled. But for some of the people who showed up, they still held an impromptu prayer for the victims and also for the community. Reporting live in Muncie, Katira Winfrey, Wish TV, WishTV.com, and like us on Facebook.
Hoosier teachers are projected to spend.
It feels really weird to tell your reporter after they're reporting on a mass shooting in their community to be like, and like us on Facebook. There's plenty of time for that. And well, who am I to talk? You know, I do a show with a goddamn troll head. Follow me on Patreon. Go sub. Give me money. I believe it was also a party going on in Chicago where a mass shooting occurred. I believe a woman died.
Yes, Karen. Of course, the neighborhood in shambles, very much on edge. That's the condition of neighborhood residents this afternoon after that violence erupted.
Woman killed, 8 others hurt.
8 women who was wounded remains hospitalized in critical condition this afternoon. The mother of the victim is remembering a daughter taken too soon.
Unbearably hurt. That's my oldest daughter.
Natasha Graham struggles with her painful reality. She's lost another one of her children to gun violence. 21-year-old Kanisha Gaines was killed and 8 other women wounded when someone opened fire in the city's North Lawndale neighborhood overnight.
Kanisha was a funny everything. She was so outgoing. She was the queen of the world.
The shooting happened early Sunday morning in the 1500 block of South Keeler Avenue on Chicago's west side just before 1 a.m. Police say it was as Gaines and a group of women who gathered there for a luau party, a Hawaiian-themed birthday celebration, that a black Jeep approached. Without warning, multiple unknown suspects armed with guns got out and started shooting at the women.
With all of these women,
why?
Shot, you know, some has to be personal. Why would you just unload on a yard or a house full of women that was here on the outside celebrating someone's birthday?
Yeah.
The victims were shot and wounded and range in age from 20 to 33 years old. While Gaines was shot in the face and later died, a 28-year-old woman who was struck 8 times remains hospitalized in critical condition.
8 times!
You can't get up. Let me go outside. You can't even go outside no more.
And while the violence has left neighborhood residents on edge, relatives once again deal with the trauma of loss. Kanisha's 18-year-old brother, Keyshawn, was a victim of gun violence in 2019.
Well, what you got left, you just try and hold on to it as close as you can. Don't let your kids outside.
The family of Kanisha Gaines says she was a home health care worker and a part-time stylist. She leaves behind a 3-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter. This afternoon, amid the grief, there's also
this feels personal.
For all the guns on the streets and those willing to use them, as well as a plea for justice for the violence to stop.
So I'm going to continue to be the strong one. I'm going to help my family, and we're going to make it past this.
Now, the Chicago Police Department saying that its crime victims unit is going to reach out to neighborhood residents in addition to the survivors of this attack, trying to support them and help them deal with their trauma. They say that they're going to have a center open for that tomorrow. In the meantime, Area 4 detectives are continuing to sift through all of the evidence that they've gathered in hopes of being able to locate the people responsible for this heinous crime.
Another day. And mass plane crash USA. What? I'm getting ready to tell you about numerous plane crashes across the country. The home of mass shootings and plane crashes, apparently. I don't know what's going on. Going to Southern California.
Right now, some breaking news out of the Inland Empire. 3 people are dead after a small plane crash. It happened at Cable Airport in Upland just before 7 this morning. Officials say the aircraft crashed into a building on the west end of the field. The plane was then fully engulfed in flames, but firefighters prevented that fire from spreading. It's unclear where the plane was coming from or who was on board. The cause of the crash, of course, under investigation now. 2 similar crashes happened earlier this month near French Valley Airport in Riverside County.
So we don't have footage of the crash from that one. However, we've got 2 different crashes in Wisconsin and New Hampshire. I know that we have footage of at least one of them. What is it? The heat? Does heat affect pilots?
Tonight, chaos in the sky. Within hours, multiple aviation crashes across the country. Near Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, this plane towing a banner crash landed around noon in the ocean.
4 aircraft in the water out of the main beach.
It was like something out of a movie.
Adam Backney was there with his family.
It hit nose first, the tail went up over the cabin, and then it fell back down. People were screaming.
The pilot seen swimming to safety.
The lifeguards have brought the pilot, which is the only occupant, to shore. We're evaluating him now.
And the pilot did a remarkably great job in knowing that they didn't want to land on the beach because it was full of people.
2 crashes also happening in Wisconsin, the first this morning into Lake Winnebago. The Coast Guard says a T-6 Texan plane like these was maneuvering before rapidly descending from an altitude around 3,000 feet. Rescue crews are still searching for the...
Why are you flying one of those? You getting ready to go firebomb Tokyo? What the fuck? Oh, he was maneuvering. Was it an air show? What?
It happened not far from the EAA Air Venture Show in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, the largest air show in the world, where this
2
aircraft similar to this small helicopter and a gyrocopter like this collided. Officials say this was not related to the show.
When you have an air show of this size, unfortunately, it is not that uncommon that each year that there's some form of accidents, because there are thousands.
They collided, but it wasn't related to the show. This was not planned. It wasn't like WWE. They didn't take a bump on purpose.
Upon thousands of airplanes up there.
It's still unclear how many people may be hurt or how they're doing tonight. Dana Griffin, NBC News.
Thanks for watching.
Shut up, Lester. What you doing, Smokey? You guys want to see Smokey? Say hey to him, buddy. He always looks like he's pissed off at everything, but he's the sweetest. Unless you pissed in the floor over there. Smokey is not impressed at all. Baby, you never want to lay with me. Like when after I go to the bathroom and I come back to bed, you don't want to lay back down. No, you want to lay on your own. When I'm working, when I'm streaming, that's when you want to get up in my lap. Go on, baby, go play. Go see what Maynard is doing. Oh, goddamn. Where's Smokey at? There we go. He's giving everybody the dirty look. Biden had been giving people the dirty look when asked about his 7th grandchild. Hunter apparently in a court battle with his baby mama from Arkansas. The right wing has made such a huge deal out of it. I want to go ahead and say, first of all, I feel icky talking about it There could be a million fucking reasons why Joe Biden has no contact with that child. If there's a court battle with the mom and Hunter, I don't know shit about Joe Biden, but I want to say like he's a family man. If he thought he had a grandkid out there, like he would want to know it and take care of it.
Come on, man.
I've just got that hunch. But like there's a million reasons. This is personal family bullshit. It should not be an issue, but the right wing has made it an issue, and it's fucked up. But apparently Biden has now officially acknowledged his 7th grandchild.
Biden has just acknowledged his 7th grandchild.
I just said that.
One that he previously had avoided talking about. It's a 4-year-old. She is the child of President Biden's son, Hunter, that he had the child with a woman he says he had an encounter with while he was battling his cocaine addiction. Remember, back in April, President Biden said he only had 6 children, not 7. Take a listen.
I have 6 grandchildren, and I'm crazy about them. And I speak to them every single day.
Again, the president.
It shouldn't be news.
7th grandchild, first reported by People magazine. Let's go to Peter Alexander at the White House. And Peter, I understand the White House has released a statement.
That's right. We just received that statement from the White House, specifically from President Biden.
Not high enough for this shit.
To you in part, and again, though, to headline the significance here. This is the first time that the president is publicly acknowledging the existence of this 7th grandchild. And it reads in part, our son Hunter and Navy Jones' mother, London, are working together to foster a relationship that's in the best interest.
What was that noise? Like there was just like a... Was that my voice that did... You guys hear anything? There's some other noise other than my voice. What was it though? I have no idea. I just saw the spike in the audio on the VU meter. Is it the lightning? Oh my god, it's lightning in here again. That's a possibility.
Interest of their daughter, preserving her privacy as much as possible going forward. London refers to London Roberts, that is the Arkansas woman who filed a paternity suit against the president's son Hunter back in May of 2019. This has become a political issue of sorts, Tom. Republicans have been critical of President Biden for not publicly acknowledging this child, this granddaughter, Hunter's child, out of wedlock. The president, though, responding to that, says this is not a political issue. It is a family matter. He says, Jill, referring to the First Lady, and I only want what is best for all of our grandchildren, including Navy right now. NBC News has also learned that the president going forward will...
Everything good now?
7 grandchildren,
Yay.
not 6. In fact, he does just that in a podcast that he taped this week that has not yet been released. And we're getting some more background understanding.
What, did he go on Pod Save America?
This announcement, this public acknowledgement, a source familiar with the matter now telling NBC News in their words that you have to remember there were some fairly contentious legal proceedings, they say, between Navy Jones' parents happening until just a few weeks ago. As grandparents, this person tells us the Bidens are following Hunter's lead. They are.
Exactly. There was some sort of custody battle going on. So it's understandable that Joe would be like, hey, you know, I gotta leave her out. Like, there's no reason to bring her into this circus. If he wants to have a relationship with that child, like, that's not a matter for us. But he might want to do it in a way that's not in the public eye, and that's totally okay. I hate this timeline. But it does produce funny things. The Matrix glitches every now and again. And we get hilarious incidents. So this was Trump at the Lincoln dinner.
President Donald J. Trump.
One kid dreams of fame and fortune. One kid helps pay the rent. One could end up going to prison.
Does anybody notice anything ironic about the moment that Trump steps out on stage? And I do believe that is Brooks and Dunn.
One could end up going to prison.
He fist bumps right after the lyric prison.
One just might be president.
One might be both. One might be president and go to prison. What a fucking country we live in. He has his tiny, tiny hands. Only in America, indeed. Only in America could a man be president and go to prison. Apparently his lawyer was on with MSNBC one of these past couple of days and made a fool of herself. So would you guys like to watch a Trump lawyer make a fool of herself? Her name is Lisa Rubin, apparently.
Lisa Rubin, MSNBC legal analyst, and Eric Tucker, Justice Department reporter with the Associated Press. He's also co-author on the latest AP report.
Politically, you may get that as well. You may get that with Trump. You may get him being convicted and becoming president again.
Fresh charges tie Trump even more closely to cover-up effort. And Lisa, let's start with you. These are fascinating new developments. How do you interpret Trump's outright denial?
Trump's outright denial, Aaron, is only going to be effective in the court of public opinion and with people who are...
I'm sorry, Lisa is the MSNBC analyst.
That's been made here, not only the obstruction of justice charge, but the other charges against Trump, Nauta, and the new co-defendant, Carlos de Oliveira, all they are about an attempt to persuade Yuscil Taveras, the IT worker we now know as Trump employee 4, to do that deletion for them. Trump may be technically correct that he did not ever give
an honest criminal, yes,
to someone with the authority or even information necessary to delete those tapes to do so, but he made that message clear through intermediaries to Nauta and then to de Oliveira and then to Taveras, distancing himself as a mob boss would.
Well, Nauta.
But that's not going to save him legally. The very fact that they conspired to do it and then attempted to persuade Yuscil Taveras to do it, that's in and of itself.
He should have said Nauta,
to constitute a federal crime and a rather serious one, Aaron.
So that being said, the fact that Trump's lawyer's argument is that the tapes were not ultimately deleted, is that even a relevant defense?
No, it's not a relevant defense. And
wait, are we not actually getting a Trump lawyer on MSNBC? I'm going to be disappointed.
A lawyer to the former president, but she is not a lawyer involved in these proceedings. For purposes of this case, Alina Habba is a Trump-affiliated lawyer who is doing legal affiliated PR. She is not involved in the defense of this case. You will not see Todd Blanche or John Lauro, for example, who are the lawyers defending Trump against this case. I'm sorry, Todd Blanche or Chris Kise, who are involved in this case. You won't see them on TV advancing this defense because I don't think it's a defense that they'll advance in court.
Okay, and the superseding indictment lays out a timeline showing when the draft subpoena went out. Then,
so their argument is that because he attempted to delete the tapes, but no tapes, and also I don't know. Apparently, they did delete the tapes, but they were recoverable. They were like saved on another drive or something somewhere. I don't know how the Justice Department went about acquiring the tapes, but they have them. But like, their argument is, well, since you have the tapes, you can't charge us with trying to delete the tapes because the tapes exist. Oh, these people are brazen. They did a basic delete. It's exactly right. They didn't do the acid wash like Hillary Clinton did. Trump wants everyone out of the race. Calls on all...
Every dollar spent attacking me by Republicans is a dollar given straight to the Biden campaign if he makes it.
Former President Trump now calling on his 2024 GOP rivals to drop out of the race as he is facing a possible third indictment. News Nation's Evan Moon live for us in Washington, D.C. with that story. Evan?
That's right, Natasha. Trump could face a third indictment just days after additional...
That is right, guys. This is probably going to be a big week. We're getting at least one indictment, possibly two, multiple counts. He is probably going to be up to triple-digit criminal counts against him. That is a very real possibility. He could be triple-digit felony counts against him. That is a very real possibility, and it could come as soon as this week.
Criminal charges were mounted against him in that Florida classified documents case. But despite legal troubles, he says he's the best person to take on President Biden in 2024. As mounting legal troubles face the former president,
only in America.
Donald Trump now calling on his 2024 GOP opponents to drop out of the race.
I think it's time for Ron DeSanctimonious and so many of those other clowns. For Ron DeSanctimonious and so many others that are wasting hundreds of millions of dollars that Republicans should be using to build a massive vote-gathering operation to take on crooked Joe Biden in November.
Trump facing fresh attacks from other Republican hopefuls, claiming his bid is bad party politics.
As it stands right now, you will be voting in Iowa while multiple criminal cases are pending against former President Trump.
Donald Trump is running to stay out of prison.
Who's this joker?
If we elect... I know.
They don't like it when you tell the truth, whoever the fuck Will Hurd. They don't want to hear the truth. They can't handle the truth. They are snowflakes. They need a safe space. Because Will Hurd is right. Trump is running 100% to stay out of prison.
Listen, I know the truth. The truth is hard. But if we elect Donald Trump, we are willingly giving Joe Biden 4 more years in the White House.
Just days after 3 additional criminal charges were placed against the former president in the classified documents case, and ahead of a possible third indictment against him surrounding efforts to remain in office, Trump says he is the only one that should be taking on President Biden.
Every dollar spent.
And here's the thing, is this joker could have went on living his fucking life, fucking porn stars, having affairs on his supermodel fucking wife, being treated like a superstar anywhere he went. But no, he had to get into politics. Because, like, fucking, they would have never done anything to him. Fuck, they would have never prosecuted him even if he just committed less crimes than he did. He was just insanely brazen about it. You can't tug on Superman's cape. You can't spit into the wind. It comes back to bite you in the ass eventually. I like kicking authority in the balls.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
But you can only go and, like, flaunt, your ass at the Washington, D.C. establishment and brazenly commit crimes. He is guilty as fuck of far more than what they have charged him with. Hands down, without a question. So, like, you can only do that for so long until it's going to bite you in the ass. I think he's going to prison. That's going to be fun to watch. I would love to see him spend the rest of his life in prison. Like fucking karma. If I live to see Donald Trump go to prison and Elon Musk be broke, which are both are very real possibilities. If I could see those two things happen, I will die a happy man.
Spent attacking me by Republicans is a dollar given straight to the Biden campaign if he makes it. I don't know if he's going to make it.
Meanwhile, a Trump PAC has spent more than $40 million on legal costs this year to defend himself and others. Tomorrow, a Mar-a-Lago employee newly implicated in the documents case is set to appear in court in Miami. Carlos de Oliveira allegedly drained the pool at the Mar-a-Lago resort and flooded a room that housed computer servers with surveillance video logs. He's charged with obstruction conspiracy, the third person to appear in court in this case. Save America, the former president's PAC, has spent more on legal work for Trump and his staff this year than any other presidential campaign expense.
Making my way downtown.
On his GOP polling,
Richard, good evening.
55%.
No, I think you guys are underestimating how serious the charge. Like, any other single person facing the charge he's facing, like, would already be being held. They would not see the light of day already. I think he's going to prison. I think he dies in prison. Wow. They caught Taylor Schabusiness red-handed. Literally. She had blood on her hands when they found her at her apartment building. They have Trump more dead to rights than they had Taylor Schabusiness. The jury will deliberate for less time for Trump than they did for Taylor Schabusiness, which was like fucking, they didn't even fucking take a smoke break. They were probably read the rules and like guilty, 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 guilty. Okay, cool. Red fucking handed, they caught her. They get out of the cop car and they're like, is this bloody footprints? And they follow them to her. It's like a fucking cartoon. They've got more evidence on Trump. Oh, the Taylor Schabusiness thing. I can't get enough of that. So, the GOP leaders in the Senate have apparently... Oh, PP girl. She was found guilty. She was raped. She admitted she described cuddling with him, sucking his half-erect penis as he was already headless. She was found guilty, what, last week, Tuesday, Wednesday? I mean, that's a bridge you cross when... What do you mean by fraud? I mean, we found plenty of fraud in 2020. It was all being committed by Trump and his people. It was Rudy Giuliani going down and fucking with election workers in Georgia.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
It was Lynn Wood voting in multiple states. The attorney claiming the 2020 election was stolen, found to have committed election fraud. You can't make this shit up. Reality is better than any fucking story I could write. And that's the reason why I do the news. The fucking shit we cover here every night, I couldn't make this shit up. My buddy asked me, he was like, how long do you think the trial will last? I'm like, I can't imagine very long. They have her dead to rights. Caught her red-handed. Oh, leaders in the Senate have tried to dissuade Tommy Tuberville from him holding up military promotions. GOP leaders strike out on getting Tuberville to bend. Let's hear what he has to say.
Alabama Republican Senator Tom.
Oh, I'll read it. Fuck her. They tried to get Senator Tommy Tuberville to lift the holds he's placed on hundreds of military promotions, which have opened Republicans up to attacks from the Biden administration. But their efforts have failed, and they are now in a situation where the earliest a resolution might be found is September, when lawmakers will also be busy trying to avoid a government shutdown at the end of the month. It's hung around for a while. I support his goals, said Senator John Thune, the number 2 Senate Republican. The challenge, obviously, is the mechanism he used to get to the result has created some challenges. We want to figure out a way to resolve it and address that. There are conversations now going on, which is good, between him and the military and others. We'll have some time in August to work on a path forward, and hopefully we'll find it. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has been among those trying to find a resolution, Thune said. Tuberville said he and McConnell discussed the holds on Wednesday, hours after the GOP leader froze. Right after they broke Mitch McConnell. At this point, everybody's engaged trying to figure out how to solve this. Tuberville began his holds in early March to protest a new Defense Department policy to reimburse service members who must travel to seek an abortion for those travel expenses. 6 months later, the list of holds has grown to 300. Senate Republicans were hoping to find a solution before leaving Washington for 5 weeks. 5 additional weeks during which those military officers will remain in limbo, fueling Democratic attacks and frustrating the Pentagon. One Senate Republican said finding an off-ramp agreeable to both Tuberville and those opposed to the holds has become a recurring discussion in the Senate GOP conference, and that McConnell has been personally involved in that quest. Aside from the potential political and national security implications of the holds, McConnell is worried about the institutional implications. The longtime GOP leader recently told reporters at a press conference that he is concerned this could lead to a renewed Democratic effort to change the chamber's rules. Despite disagreeing with Tuberville's tactic, however, he says he recognizes it is the prerogative of any single senator to place a hold on a nominee. I didn't understand why Tommy Tuberville might want to do this. Tom Hartman on his program floated the idea that this is like Mitch McConnell keeping the seat open for Trump in 2016. Supreme Court. That Tommy Tuberville is doing this on behalf of Trump so that Trump can appoint all the promotions within the military. And that's a scary thought. The one piece of evidence that I would put forward to suggest that would not be the case is that Tommy Tuberville isn't that smart. But then again, it could very well not be his idea, and he's just following orders. Also, Trump's not that smart. But there could Steve Bannon is that smart. So I'm not totally ruling out the notion. I'm not totally ruling out the notion that that's what they're doing. Top North Carolina Republicans private Stone Flynn. You're right. There are people around him that are smart enough to come up with that sort of plan. Flynn absolutely could be the person pulling the strings on that one. Downtown, hell yeah. Top North Carolina Republicans privately encouraged then Democrat Tricia Cotham to run for the state house in 2022, a year before she switched parties and gave the GOP a veto-proof majority. So North Carolina is one of the states where they have been told by the courts they need to redraw their maps. Unfortunately, they now have protection from having to actually do that. Two of North Carolina's top GOP leaders encouraged Tricia Cotham to run for office last year. Cotham, from a family with deep Democratic roots, flipped to the GOP 3 months into her term. She has since voted with Republicans to override key vetoes made by Democratic Governor Roy Cooper. In 2022, Tricia Cotham mulled over the possibility of a return to the North Carolina House of Representatives, where she had served as a Democratic lawmaker from 2007 until 2017. While Cotham was a familiar face to Democrats in the Charlotte area, local activists didn't realize she was seriously considering coming back to the legislature until she filed for the Democratic primary shortly before last year's filing deadline. Once Cotham won the primary, many Democrats reached out to her, hoping to aid the general election campaign of a longtime friend. But according to a New York Times report, their calls and messages largely went unanswered. Shortly after Cotham rejoined the legislature in January, she soon felt discontent with the House Democratic caucus, remarking on the political... She knew she didn't have a serious challenger. That's why the calls went unanswered. Wow. Remarking on the political pressure exerted on the group as they were the last line of defense against legislative Republicans overriding the vetoes of two-term Governor Roy Cooper. And then Cotham in April made a decision that immediately transformed North Carolina politics as she switched from the Democratic Party to the GOP, giving the latter party supermajorities in both the state House and state Senate. Democrats were outraged as they had welcomed back into their fold a longtime colleague who just 3 months into her new term had flipped parties. And Republicans were thrilled with their newfound power, ribbing Democrats for not working more effectively with Cotham and vowing major changes on everything from abortion rights to education reform. What was previously unknown until now was that top North Carolina Republicans, namely House Speaker Tim Moore and House Majority Leader John Bell, had encouraged Cotham to run for the seat last year. Such a push by members of the opposing party to prod a candidate into running to office would be seen as a rarity in American politics, and especially North Carolina, which over the past decade has been home to some of the fiercest political battles over gerrymandering, voting rights, and election administration. And North Carolina was the state where the political operative was caught with all the fucking blueprints for how they rigged elections. His daughter, he was a dirty trickster in the Republican Party, and his daughter found his stash of incriminating evidence. This happened 2020, 2021 maybe? I'm really shocked by how quickly fascism has been mainstreamed in this country to the point that schools in Florida are now going to teach from PragerU.
Florida is now the first state to allow conservative curriculum known as PragerU in public schools.
The group claims that students are failing because schools are pushing activism instead of teaching facts. Watch News' Marlene Martinez joins us in studio right now. Marlene, you spoke with the CEO. What did they have to say?
Yes, PragerU, despite the name, is not a university. If you go to the website, it looks a lot like scrolling through YouTube, a website filled with video content. Now, the CEO tells me they want to use their content to educate kids, but some parents say the material is concerning.
There is no such thing as gender-affirming care. You cannot affirm something that does not exist.
This is an example of a PragerU video.
There are men and women and boys and girls. And there are men and women and boys and girls who are confused or deluded about which one they are.
The conservative nonprofit creates videos like these, they say, to offer a free alternative to the dominant
propaganda
in culture, media, and education.
Parents have felt that they have been really pushed out of the education of their children.
CEO Marissa Streit tells me they're now bringing their PragerU kids content to classrooms, and Florida is the first to sign up.
America's classrooms have been more focused on producing young activists than actually kids who excel academically or are able to think critically. And
what is it the Nazis accuse the other side of that of which you were guilty of?
Providing teachers with additional tools so they don't have to only teach leftism in schools.
On Wednesday, the Florida Department of Education said in a statement that they reviewed PragerU Kids and determined the material aligns to Florida's revised civics and government standards. Now,
well, that should tell you all you need to know about Florida's standards.
Supplemental material. Like this video, tagged for 3rd to 5th graders.
Mrs. Calder gave us an assignment today about being activists for justice.
Isn't Mrs. Calder your math teacher?
Yeah. We learn math, but we spend a lot of time learning about the stuff they talk about in the news.
That's weird. Isn't math class supposed to be for math?
Made the fuck up. Never happened. So much so that I can tell you that my geometry teacher, who led the Young Republicans Club, because I was president of the Young Republicans in high school, Mr. Diamond, so much so did not pay attention to the news, was focused on math, that on 9/11, when every other class was doing nothing but talking about, holy shit, what just happened, Mr. Diamond made us do math problems and sit and listen to the radio quietly. I don't know what they're just making this shit up.
While the state has given the conservative curriculum the stamp of approval,
this is terrifying.
Tatiana Quiroga worries what this means for her kids.
You know, this really makes
good point, Dustin.
Where exactly is that separation of church and state?
Tatiana is the executive director of Come Out with Pride, the host of Orlando's annual Pride Festival.
It's just very concerning as a parent, and just starting to really question what my children will be exposed to when they enter.
9/11 happened my senior year. And I was in, like, it was my geometry teacher, but it was some kind of like advanced placement fucking class we were in. Made us do a worksheet of fucking problems. Oh. Yeah, that happened my senior year clinically.
Enter the classroom, I am left with a lot of questions and concerns.
I've reached out to all 10 of our local school districts to see if they plan to use PragerU materials. So far, Flagler County Public Schools say their teachers have access to all approved state material, while Seminole County Public Schools say they are not using PragerU materials. Other districts say they haven't talked about it yet. Jim, Summer.
Well, I, for one, am against it. I'm again using PragerU, which is actual indoctrination. We've watched plenty of PragerU. We've watched those fucking kids videos. Absolute stupid shit. And if you grow up on shit like PragerU, you'll do something fucking stupid, like book a fucking Soul Fest in front of a giant Confederate monument.
With the concert controversy as thousands of people pack Stone Mountain Park for this weekend's Soul Fest concert series. But civil rights activists are asking, why hold an event with mostly black performers right under a giant Confederate carving? Channel 2's Larry Spruill is live at Stone Mountain Park. And Larry, this is getting national attention.
Yeah, Wendy.
Oh, you know it's getting national attention when the Troll Patrol will be talking about it.
Everyone is talking about the Soul Fest event that is happening here at Stone Mountain. They just wrapped up gospel artist Tasha Cobb's event today, but this weekend there would be some huge R&B artists. Now the goal is to bring people together with music, but not everyone is buying that message. Gospel music filled the air at day 2 of Soul Fest here at Stone Mountain Park. Hundreds came to hear a well-known gospel music artist.
Tasha Cobb is one of my favorite artists.
Seeing Tasha Cobb's winner and praising the Lord.
I love Tasha Cobb as well.
Tasha Cobb's Leonard is the headliner for Friday's musical event.
Tasha Cobb Leonard must be fire.
I've been watching her for years.
But while she sings her #1 songs, it's where she's performing that's causing some controversy. Under this mountainside sculpture of Confederate leaders, General Robert E. Lee, Confederate President Jefferson Davis, and General Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson.
What they're trying to do is lull black people into accepting racism.
Richard Rose with the Atlanta NAACP says this monument resembles hatred.
There are other parks, great parks in the city, in this state, and going to Stone Mountain really is just an abomination.
That's why the Georgia NAACP and the Southern Poverty Law Center are denouncing the concert series with black.
Carving that fucking shit into the side of that beautiful ass mountain is an abomination.
Musical artists. I reached out to the event planners, but I have not heard back. But Rose says musical artists told him their music will bring people together.
How do you unite people in front of a 400-acre celebration of racism?
I asked concert goers if this symbol bothers them.
I don't have a problem with whatever's up there because I know the one who is greater than that.
I know what it represents and I know what I believe. So I'm paying attention to the concert and not to the carving on the mountain.
How
can you not pay attention to it? It's huge.
There have been numerous events there at Stone Mountain that are well attended by the black community. So why then is the NAACP and others speaking out against this one?
Well, Wendy, they say this event is different because it targets the black community. It brings in black artists, also provides black music as well. Now, they said, this event is okay.
It's gigantic.
Just rather it be held at a different location. Wendy?
That was some inspirational music there. Well, it sounded like we were getting ready to head into a gospel song. All right, give me like less than a minute to go refill my drink. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the trial verdict for a cop who left a woman in a car handcuffed while a train hit it. Texas police are apologizing to a family they held at gunpoint mistakenly. A burglar in Ohio fell through a roof. We're talking about a missing teen who was gone for years and apparently came back. Taylor Swift caused a seismic event. All that and more in like 1 minute. I'll be right back.
Hi, I'm JustinFREAKIN. I'm a leftist broadcaster and comedian. Not liberal. Leftist. And despite what you may have heard from right-wing propaganda, George Soros isn't handing out Soros bucks and funding people like me. There are no Koch brothers, Mercers, or any number of right-wing think tanks funding content on the left side of the spectrum the way they fund people like Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, and Dennis Prager. And YouTube doesn't monetize videos that are controversial or deal with politics unless you're someone like Steven Crowder. So this is an ultimatum. Become a patron. Support my Patreon, or I'm going to become a right-winger and get some of that easy money. You know for a fact that I could be bigger than Charlie Kirk or Jesse Lee Peterson.
Amazing!
All I have to do is talk about how I used to be an SJW snowflake, but the left went too far with their cultural Marxism, and Republicans are stupid enough to buy it, even though this video exists. And you know I'm right, so give me your money or I'm selling you out.
I love that promo. The beat is from The Weeknd, but that beat has been sampled in numerous songs. I do believe the original artist is Susie and the Banshees. Wait, what? My formal voice sounds nothing like me? What do you mean by formal voice? I don't understand. Cause like I get people telling me I sound like radio voice just normally all the time. Like I walk into a gas station. Like, good afternoon. I've got a fucking, there's this page. I think I know who it is, but I'm not exactly sure. It's really weird. They've created an account called Justin Giggle on Facebook. And I can't figure out what the end game is for this. And they really didn't do anything with it, but now they've started posting news stories. You talk with a little bow tie. Sound a little more conversational when I'm on stream, I guess. I had a different microphone back then. And here I fell on the floor because I took a hit and I couldn't catch my breath at the beginning of the stream. Here I am packing a whole nother bong. Do it again. I got a bow tie and a top hat. I'm trying to get back to full steam. I'm trying to get you a Friday night show back again. We're working on it. I work all the goddamn time. I'm sorry, guys. I get there are people wanting video products from me right now that I have not delivered that are like, hey Justin, where the fuck is our videos? People never quit hiring me and shit. Hire me without even talking to me. Well, I guess I'm doing this job now. Yeah, it does. I do. I feel. And it was when all the shit went down last year. For those of you who don't know, I accidentally got evicted last summer. It was the beginning of July or the ass end of June of last year, and it wasn't the it was my stupid. I ride life on a razor's edge. I just do enough work to get by because I'm lazy and shit. I'm in a legal state. So it's my fault. Like, I totally want it. Like, I could probably be a millionaire if I wanted to. If I hustled and did the work and blah, 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 blah. Like, I could charge top dollar for the shit that I do. I'm really fucking good at making, like, I make all my shit for the stream from scratch. Like, I make serious shit. Like, I make corporate training videos and shit like that. But I don't fucking care. And, like, I don't care about keeping clients happy and shit. So, like, I had a series of events that happened. Like, I needed to cancel my bank account. Couldn't open my bank account because I didn't have a driver's license at the time because I'd let it expire over COVID and never went and got a new one. So I couldn't open a new bank account, which fucked up my PayPal and didn't let me accept invoices. So I had money but couldn't access my money. So, like, it was like a whole fucking series of events that spiraled down on a dude that lives life on the razor's edge at all times. And I didn't tell anybody about it. So, like, Sparkles found out, like, a day or two before I left. But when all that shit happened, like, I had somebody offer a $1,000 gift card to me. Because I lost a lot of things. And I was like, no, it's okay, because I have the power to make money. Like, you just, like, you give me a chair and a desk and my computer and I make money. So, other people don't have that. Other people don't have that luxury. So, I'm not really looking for, I don't want to be a charity case. I don't want to take charity from other people. I don't have a car. That's so that was another reason why I didn't get my license renewed, because I didn't have a car. Because I was already working from home before the pandemic ever started. And I lived in the same apartment building as Sparkles. So, like, if I really needed to go out, I'd be like, hey, Sparkles, give me a ride. And we pretty much went out every weekend anyway. So, like, I had a lease, so I turned in my car. Oh, I tried to stay with my mom again a few months back. She didn't allow that. She's like, she's too old for that shit. But it worked out. It worked out. I was just having a hard time finding a place with my credit that would rent to me. I guess they didn't run a credit check here or something. They had to run a background check. They couldn't rent to me under certain conditions because of our surroundings over here. They know I'm not a pedo. They must have skimped out on the credit check. I get called a pedo a lot by right-wingers. And, like, I ain't never been around kids. I hate kids. I don't want to see no fucking kids. Keep your fucking kids away from me. So, like, the idea that they think I'm a pedo. Ha! Ha! Ain't no pictures with me anywhere close to any kids. Fuck them kids. No, not literally. Don't literally fuck kids. That would be bad. That'll get a movie made of you. How creepy is this? Giselle. Oh, it sounds like a George thing. I was very George. Flash. In case, like, I guess I am kind of very, like, I didn't see a lot of myself in the George character, but I am fucking Larry David. And Larry David is George. Like, Jason Alexander just played George differently. Like, when you see Larry play George and you see Larry just being Larry, George makes a lot more sense. I'm very much like Larry. I'm a social assassin. If you want somebody to say something that nobody else will say, I will say it. We watched the video of the car that was on a railroad track. Woman in cuffs in the back. I couldn't believe my eyes when I watched this. I have a verdict in the trial. Hold on, you guys don't have audio yet.
The verdict for a police officer who left a handcuffed woman in a patrol car that was then hit by an oncoming freight train. ABC's Morgan Norwood has more on the judge's decision with a warning the video may be disturbing. Morgan, good morning.
Wait, good morning. In this case hinged on that bone-chilling video and whether there was any criminal intent when Urani Rios was left inside that patrol car as that train plowed through.
I mean, it doesn't matter if there's, like, he was found guilty of reckless endangerment. Doesn't matter if there's criminal intent. He is guilty of reckless endangerment, period.
It was a heart-stopping moment caught on camera. A freight train barreling into this Colorado police car with a woman handcuffed and sitting inside.
The suspect was in the vehicle that was hit by the train.
21-year-old Urani Rios miraculously surviving that crash.
Poor girl.
A Colorado judge finding the female officer who placed her in that doomed car guilty of misdemeanor charges of reckless endangerment and assault.
Court finds she did act recklessly, and the guilty verdicts on those counts will enter.
Officer Jordan Steinke choking back sobs as the judge handed down the verdict Friday.
Fuck you!
Acquitting her of the more serious felony attempted manslaughter charge, but ruling she acted recklessly during...
Oh, I can't believe she got off on the attempted manslaughter, because that's what that was. Why was it parked on the fucking train tracks? What kind of... I know cops are stupid. Why in the... You should know better.
The suspected road rage traffic stop with Rios along a set of railroad tracks last September.
Where are you taking me? We're taking you to the car. Come on.
Watch as Steinke puts Rios in the patrol car.
Take a seat.
And goes on to search Rios' vehicle. Then Steinke hears the blaring train's horns.
Time check. Oh my God.
At the heart of the trial, whether or not Steinke knew the patrol car was parked on the tracks. Steinke testifying that while she observed the railroad tracks, she did not perceive them. Her lawyer calling the incident a horrific accident.
I never in a million years thought a train was going to come plowing through my scene.
The judge siding with prosecutors on two of...
You parked on a railroad track, you dipshit!
Is disregard the substantial risk that was right in front of her, and disaster ensued.
Rios' attorney saying the young mom spends most of her days at doctor's appointments for the extensive injuries she sustained in the crash.
She's dealing with all of the
lucky to be alive,
mental, emotional consequences of this incident. It's going to be an uphill battle for her for the rest of her life. She will be dealing with the trauma of this
road rage
incident.
And the legal battle continues. Rios is filing a civil complaint against the officers involved.
Millions!
Pablo Vasquez, who's also facing misdemeanor charges in this case. As for Steinke, her sentencing is set for September 5th. And Janae, she's looking at up to 2.5 years in jail.
Not enough.
Really disturbing video. Morgan, thank you for that.
Well, the sad part is like the cop's not gonna be the one paying the money. It's gonna be the taxpayers. She deserves it. Go to Texas, a town called Frisco. The Frisco police chief is apologizing after they accidentally pulled over a family and held them at gunpoint.
Whatever happens to me, I'll do
An overwhelmed father.
Y'all put a gun on my son for no reason, dog. Can I explain to you?
Police say it was all a mistake.
I ran it easy for Arizona to the AR.
On July 23rd, a Frisco, Texas police officer ran plates on a black Dodge Charger. But instead of typing AR for Arkansas, she says she typed AZ for Arizona. The information came back as a possible stolen car. Police say it was a high-risk traffic stop, and at least one officer had his weapon drawn.
Everybody in the car, hands outside the window.
A family.
Outside. Maintain your hands outside.
To me, this is a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
Hey, find out if there's any weapons in the car.
The family tells police they have a gun in the car.
In the glove box! In the glove box! If you reach in that car, you may get shot, so be careful. Do not reach in the car. I have that anxiety. Okay. I'm trying.
Demetria Hurd was behind the wheel. In the car were her husband, her son, and their nephew.
Look at my baby!
They were on their way to a basketball tournament. She explains what it was like to see her 6th grade son involved.
They actually bring him in, cuff him, and put him in the car. They're walking him to put him in the police car. And I'm crying, I didn't hyperventilate.
She says they were instructed not to.
And they are expected to act calm and rational in a situation like that, where they have just been their lives are turned upside down at a moment's notice. They were on their way to a basketball tournament for their fucking kids. The last thing they were expected to do was be held at gunpoint. This is America.
Do not move.
My husband explains to me that my nephew is in there literally screaming for his life and telling him, "Uncle, we are about to die."
But finally,
The officer made a mistake on the plate. It was ran differently.
the officer realizes it was
another dumbass cop.
An incident review is now underway.
I'm not justifying anything. I'm just saying, like, it wasn't a computer that read it. It was our human error that did this. And so please forgive us, man.
The ongoing review would identify further changes to the department's training, policies, and procedures.
I thank God that we were not physically injured, but we have suffered a lot of mental and emotional trauma from this.
Yet another family gonna get a payout, tax dollars, thanks to stupid ass fucking cops. Let's go from stupid cops to stupid crooks. Enjoy those videos as well. Those are fun. Happened in Ohio, where a guy tried to, I assume it's a guy, it has to be a guy, it can't possibly be a woman. A guy tried to rob a bank, and here's the ensuing hilarious footage.
Get out. Get out.
The local credit union, apparently in Heron, Ohio. They were just waiting on him outside. No, he didn't know they were there. He thought he was getting away with it. You can come pop out here. Indeed, Dustin. Dustin brings up an excellent point. If you are going to rob a place, there's a Wells Fargo, there's a U.S. Bank, there's all kinds of fucking shitty ass banks that have raped this country that deserve to be robbed. Go do one of them. Your local credit, I bank with a credit union. It's amazing. I get fantastic customer service for somebody like I call. They're right down the fucking road from me. They take real good care of me. I've been with them for over a decade now. Even through the whole bank spat that I told you about earlier from last summer, I'm back with them now. They are amazing. I get a dividend. They invest back into the community. And they aren't out here doing fucking speculative investments with your funds. They do things like actually give fucking mom and pop stores loans. Sorry for the rant there. Oh, his shock is fantastic.
Get out. Get out.
Just put your hands behind your back.
You can see the exact moment. That's another, yes, the credit union. So, like, I use my PayPal card a lot. Like, I had to take out from my PayPal account yesterday to get some weed. But the credit union has the lowest fee. And you can tell the exact moment when the robber knows he's fucked. Drops his bag down first. So I guess it was like a silent alarm or something.
Get out.
And the trash took itself out.
Hands behind your back.
That's what David Caruso would say if this was the opening of CSI Miami. Oh yeah, the cops. The cops waited to the perfect moment. He couldn't pull himself back in. They really did. They hit like... I don't give cops props a lot, but the perfect moment with their yelling right there. Fuck the cops who apparently couldn't find this this young girl who has been missing for 4 fucking years. It was apparently a Montana girl? No, missing Arizona girl. Was found alive after 4 years. Here's a video talking to police.
Did anybody hurt you in any way?
No, no one hurt me.
Okay, because our goal is we just want to make sure that you're safe.
I understand that.
Okay, so fair enough. Found might not be the right terminology for this, so this story is kind of wild. The 18-year-old girl who went missing from Arizona in 2019, the New York Post says reemerged in Montana. Moving to Montana soon. Reemerged in Montana this week, allegedly fought with the man she was living with and threatened to go back just one day before she turned herself in at a police station. Neighbors told the Post they heard a hold up Alicia Navarro Saturday shouting with an unidentified man inside their apartment building in Havre, a city roughly 40 miles from the Canadian border. I was here the other day and I heard them yelling. She did say, "I will go back," but that's all I heard. This is according to neighbor Garrett Smith. It was the day before she turned herself in. Navarro sauntered into a local police precinct the following day to request that she be taken off the missing persons list so that she could get a driver's license and could begin living a normal life. So it's possible she left an abusive home and waited until she took advantage of a dude. Waited till she got to be 18 and then was like, "Give me a driver's license. Let me go out here and live my life." What? So she willfully left her home in Glendale, Arizona in 2019. It's not clear how long Navarro had been living in Havre. But Smith said she and a man in his 20s have been residents since he moved in about a year ago. Smith also said he spoke to Navarro for the first time when she claimed that she was looking for her uncle near a post office only days before she went to the police station. She was asking for directions. She looked scared, adding that it was clear she didn't know her way around the area. She said she was walking with her uncle and got lost, and she's looking for 6th Street. I later found out that she was referring to him as her uncle. Smith's girlfriend, Megan Alexander, 23, said they watched Navarro go into a random house and figured she had found someone who could help her. Navarro called Smith Mr., which the 22-year-old man found odd because he noticed she wasn't very much younger. He said that the teenager appeared scared and had a scratchy voice and had noticeably insufficient dental hygiene. Her braces looked pretty bad. She had braces on when she went missing in Arizona. It looked like she still had the same braces on. Oh, God. Poor thing. Though the interaction was the first time she ever spoke to the missing girl, Smith estimates he saw her about 30 times while living at the apartment. So, the girl left her family's Glendale, Arizona home in the middle of the night, just a few days before her 15th birthday. Her parents found a handwritten note from Navarro saying, "I ran away. I will be back. I swear I'm sorry." Navarro walked into a police station in a tiny Montana town about 40 miles. It's been a lot longer than 4 years since I've had a dentist visit. But I don't have braces. Those need regular maintenance. Like, they have to be tightened every so often. And you can get shit in them and stuff. Like, they were, but I don't know what they are like now. They were a lot more involved when I was a kid. That's one of the reasons why I didn't get braces. Led to some of my dental trouble later on in life. Kids, if they tell you like, "Yeah, you probably need braces, but you might grow out of it," get the braces. Trust me. Authorities in Navarro's hometown of Glendale, Arizona, said the teen is not facing any criminal charges and is not in any kind of legal trouble. Alicia's mother, Jessica Nunez, previously raised concerns that Navarro, who was diagnosed as high functioning on the autism spectrum, may have been lured away by someone she met online. Poor girl probably pressed her teeth together. Shit. Porg, good evening. Wow, she looks so the left is present day. The right is when she was 15. That girl has seen some shit. Poor thing. I hope you get everything straightened out and you make the best of this publicity. I don't know, start you an OnlyFans or an Instagram or something. Get you that fucking paper, girl. I don't want to say don't be exploited if you don't want to be exploited. Like, we're very pro sex worker on this stream, but that's more of a like, you want to do it. You like being naked and you get off on strangers seeing you and you want to make some money doing it. That's the kind of person we really encourage on this stream. I don't want to see any woman having to show a titty if she don't want to.
You live in sexual
Free the titty,
anarchy.
but only with consent. Alicia Navarro. Alicia Navarro was the name of the missing girl. Moved to Montana. We're going to move over to Washington. Over to the state of Washington. Wait, is Carson Daly still a thing? Carson Daly still a thing? Is that Carson Daly? Shake it off. Taylor Swift fans triggered a seismic activity. Seattle concerts. A geology professor deemed the event the best quake. The Beastquake. Beastquake. Is that a take on a Taylor Swift song? I'm not that big of a Swiftie. I got a handful of songs I like. Beastquake. Taylor's version. Swifties have been passionately singing and dancing along during the 33-year-old singer's U.S. portion of her Eras tour for months, but fans at her Lumen-filled concerts in Seattle possibly formed the most vibrant crowd so far, causing the ground to physically shake. According to Western Washington University geology professor Jackie Kaplan-Arbach, Swift's tour stops on July 22nd and 23rd created seismic activity. The seismologist collected data from a seismometer located near the stadium and determined that something unusual and impressive occurred in the stands on both nights. There is Taylor Swift looking amazed. In an interview with Today.com conducted via email, Kaplan-Arbach said the pop superstar's two shows at Lumen Field registered frequencies mostly below the range of human hearing that made the ground shake. Kaplan-Arbach is currently conducting research to see what exactly led to the shaking, but she is skeptical that it came from the Shake It Off's singer's band playing her 3-hour set list or from fans cheering Swift's name. Dancing would do it, jumping the speakers, everything all together. When I saw 9 Inch Nails and they did Head Like a Hole, I'm amazed that didn't register on a fucking Richter scale somewhere. Everybody bouncing up and down and singing along with that. That was fucking amazing. Is that Carson Daly?
A little over a week since
No, that's not Carson Daly. I thought Carson Daly had gotten fat. He really let himself go. That's not him. Well, okay, so Dustin, here's a thing that a lot of bands have started doing is they don't have opening acts. And they'll do like a 2-part show and they'll take an intermission. When I saw Guns N' Roses, they did that. They didn't have an opening act. And they played a pretty long set. It was probably like 2 hours and a half, 2:45, something like that. Lady Gaga didn't have an opener. Like I guess it's a thing they do nowadays.
Re-recorded album Speak Now, Taylor's version dropped, and the 12-time Grammy winner already crushing Billboard records. Swift now the first living artist in 60 years to have 4 albums in the top 10 all at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
Plus she's got 11 albums in total on the chart. But let's just continue to do a deep dive here. If we just are talking about this latest project, every single song on her latest album.
That is Carson Daly? It doesn't sound like him. He had a deep voice, didn't he?
Is on Billboard's Hot 100 list. And according to data tracking...
Also, Snicks, good evening.
Also accounted for 1 in every 4 albums sold just last week.
Wait, wow.
That's like
stunning.
I've never seen music dominance like that.
Wow. It's crazy.
That's Carson Daly. Reckless Love. Flash, let me check. Let me do the Spotify thing. We do this quite often. That like people ask me if I know of a band. I'm like, I don't think so. I check the Spotify and I'm following them. Nope, that is not. That's who you're talking about. I do not follow them. I will follow them. Your recommendation better be good. You're usually a little too metal for me. I mean, I got a little fat too. Justin sounds fat. But he had like this smooth voice and shit. Like that doesn't sound like him. He sounds like he's been like shot up with some helium or some shit.
Like not so, more than Thriller.
Well, from a sales perspective, these days you just don't see stuff like that. We did back in the TRL days. NSYNC, Britney, we're moving units like crazy. Eminem, not anymore. But Taylor's rewriting the whole script here.
Right. All right.
That Eras tour, of course, is sold out, and it is in Seattle this weekend.
I got like a handful of songs I like by Taylor. She's usually a little too. I like dancey, upbeat songs, and she's got a few of them. Kind of my thing. God, where'd everybody come from? I got here towards the end of the show. Good evening. I think it sounds incredibly different because, like, I was a teenager. Once again, 9/11 happened when I was a senior in high school. I watched the TRL. It's a very weird time where you would get a video from Metallica next to an NSYNC video. That happened. I wanted to say I've seen Tim McGraw live, but that was Tracy Lawrence, Trace Adkins. Who's Honky Tonk Badonka Donk? Is that Trace Adkins? I've seen him live. Who's the wife beater? Tim McGraw is Indian Outlaw dude, right? I'm an Indian Outlaw. For somebody who worked for multiple country stations in the early 2000s, you'd think I'd be a lot more familiar with my 90s country. We're going to do Tyler Childers tomorrow. I'm going to talk about that. The right wingers have gone nuts. Here is Milo, and he is annoyed. Anytime he wants the dog to go to the puppy crate, Milo goes and sits in the crate and gets the dog to come over and play with him. And Milo gets out of the crate, makes sure that the puppy won't leave, even shuts the door. And the dog isn't that bright. so the puppy doesn't leave the cage. And Milo is quite the chonker. Look at that face. He's not impressed with anything. You think this is the thing they actually do, or was this planned? Was this for social media clout? Our dog is not the brightest, so he thinks he's stuck. I can't imagine how my cats would interact if there was a puppy around. They'd be devious. They'd come up with shit like that. Especially Maynard. Maynard gets cerebral with like visitors and shit. I love how I have two. You come over my house, Fox and Smokey are gonna hang out with you. Like they ain't going nowhere. Like they're not gonna run and hide while you're here. They're gonna be right here hanging out with you. Maynard, he gonna be in there in his room. But if you're here long enough, Maynard's gonna come out and he's gonna try to punk you out. Like he does this thing where like he'll make his laps around the room, right? He'll get just close to you. Where you think like, oh, maybe I could reach down and pet Maynard. No, you aren't gonna pet Maynard. You aren't gonna pet Maynard at all. And Maynard's got his eye on you, and then he's gonna go sit in that corner over there, right there. You're gonna sit in that corner so we make sure he's got his eyes on everybody. Stranger up in this house. He ain't gonna let you get too close to him. Oh, shit. African clawed frogs. PP girl, do you have Discord? If you do, please hop in Discord and give us pictures of African clawed frogs. I want to see them. I just got the 3 kitties. I gotta be okay. So like, you know, I might go take a trip and be gone for 4 or 5 days. I have to have animals that can take care of themselves, and cats can do that. Now my cats are really needy, and I haven't been away from them for very long, in quite some time. Work from home, and these cats are used to getting whatever the fuck they want, whenever the fuck they want. Hell yeah, I cannot wait to see your frogs. Oh, my bong's cashed. Smoke a little more before I get out of here. Probably eat a bowl of Oreos. What I'm gonna do when I get off here, I'm gonna eat a bowl of Oreos. Bowl of Oreos, you say? Yes. I don't know why more people haven't thought of it. Put the Oreos in the bowl and pour the milk on top of them. Because if you dunk your Oreo, fingers get wet. And part of your cookie doesn't get dunked unless like you really get your fingers down in there. And then when you start getting low on milk, it's hard to get all the cookies submerged. So I cut all that fucking nonsense out and just put that shit in a bowl, eat it with a spoon. Same result. Oreo. So there was an Oreo cereal and it sucked. It was like Oreo O's or some shit. But also, like, I've got, like... So my mom was, I don't want to say she was a health nut. But she was very big on, she didn't let me have any cereal that would be considered, like, candy-like. I had to eat like Frosted Oat Bran, or Honey Bunches of Oats was one that was allowed. The Special K with the strawberries or the blueberries is pretty good. Blueberry morning shit, that shit's good. Didn't let me have no Count Chocula when I was a kid. Ah, a glass like you would use for an old fashioned. Bourbon and ice. Those would work for cookie dunking. Still just think the bowl works better though. Feel like a genius doing it. Yes, man, like the Special K, the strawberry, excellent fucking cereal. It's got like the little almond slithers in it. Oh, slithers. It's the wild shit we talk about here. So what cereals does Justin like as an adult that he couldn't have as a kid? Is that a question going through your mind? Because the answer is Fruity Pebbles. Don't get me wrong, and I still like those, like the square oat bran things. Those are really good. Another one is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I fucking love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Fruity Pebbles and Cinnamon Toast Crunch are probably my favorite cereals. Got Fruity Pebbles right now. I don't know that I have ever had a bowl of Apple Jacks, Nix. I say that, but that is you can't take me at my word on that one, right? Because once again, I will remind everyone that I once looked at Sparkles and was like, I've never had Bojangles before. And she's like, you stupid fuck, you've had it with me. I told my friend Jesse that I'd never seen an Austin Powers movie. And he said, well, that's wrong because you saw the third one in the theater with me. So I don't remember shit. Don't take me at my word if I say I've never had Apple Jacks. Oh man, I've missed out on so many animal pictures. Which, put them in the troll chat? Oh, you put it over here in the live chat. Okay. Oh my God, they're adorable. Holy shit. Everyone's got to see these frogs. Look at these babies. I'm not a lizard person, but holy shit. Them some cute amphibians. Is it amphibians? Is that it? Oh shit, I was showing Curious or shit. It went over there. Look at that baby. Is it eating something? That's not its tongue, right? Is it got some kind of like a worm in its mouth? It's chomping down. Adorable. Oh, I can't top that. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol.